Yes, indeed. Crepe, Aerosmith featuring Back Tobacco here on Radio Free Fargo, KRFF 95.9. Again, we're streaming everywhere on this blue and green marble. We can get into your ear hole, radiofreefargo.org. That's where you need to go if you want to listen to me. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Every Thursday I get in here, 4 o'clock, 4:20. I open a big fat bag of cannabis news, and that, I can assure you, is happening today. We got stuff to talk about, and I'm going to do it. Before me is a country segment in the morning, 10 a.m. to noon with Trav. Then you got automation with Fred, spelled with a P, the AI robot doing the thing when the humans aren't. Then you got me, Canna-Talk ND with Wilson, 4 o'clock. After me, Stinky Arts Music Mart. There's other stuff on Thursday and the other days, so don't forget those. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson again is happening as we speak. Thanks for joining me. We shout out from the upper Midwest here in Fargo, North Dakota. It's kind of gloomy today, but I'll take the cool weather. I can dig it. I believe God created cannabis for us to use as we see fit, and I show him props every Sunday. Antioch Church, 417 Main Avenue, 10 a.m. We do a recovery class. If you've got a monkey on your back, or you've kicked a monkey off your back, but you can feel that little banana eater pull it on your pant leg, come on through. We believe the man upstairs can take care of you. 11 a.m. worship. I'm on stick duty. Come watch me flail. Black Cottage Alchemy sponsors this show. Thank you, Black Cottage Alchemy. 1,200 MIGs of locally grown hemp whipped up into a fun tub of the stuff. You know the stuff. Black Cottage Alchemy. Thank you for sponsoring this show. And let's just keep screaming through the red tape, shall we? You're listening to Radio Free Fargo, 95.9 KRFF Community Radio. You a business owner, manager, nonprofit organization leader, considering advertising? Why not learn what underwriting is on a nonprofit community radio station instead? To learn more about what underwriting is, please contact us at our website, www.radiofreefargo.org, or at our profile on Facebook. Why not let listeners know that you support a community by supporting a community radio station like this one, 95.9. Again, we've got a couple interesting stories to talk about. We'll update you on the push for legalization here in the state of North Dakota. New Economic Frontier has got news you're probably going to want to hear, and so I'm going to give it to you. Not this weekend, but next weekend, there will be a drive-through signing event in Bismarck and here at Tochi Products downtown. I'll get you the information here as we go along, but not this weekend, but next weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I believe, will be a drive-through event, and that should, by what I'm hearing, that should be good. We should be done. I mean, we're not far from the end here with the signatures. I mean, we're down to hundreds, which that was a couple days ago, so who knows? You know, we could be done, and it'll be voted on. So that's exciting news. 420, we'll open a big fat bag of cannabis news. I'm going to drop in some music here for you. And just to let you down easy, like I've been telling you, but as we go into this election season, whether this passes or not, I'm coming up with a new concept. I'm going to give you crazy news stories and jazz in this hour. So just be mindful. Still going to be me, the same old G. But we're going to switch it up a little bit because I've gotten bored and I've been doing this a while. And I just can't see, I just can't see the legs on it. Really, or even its necessity. And like I always say, I think my pastor will be happy I switch up the topic too. All right, well, here is Algal to the Galleys, 95.9. Everybody face starboard on the poop deck. To the Galleys, Algal, here on 95.9, RadioFreeFargo.org. We're sleeming, scheming, and streaming everywhere on RadioFreeFargo.org. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. I'm your boy Wilson. We're going to talk about cannabis and stuff. So suit up for that. 420, we'll open a big fat bag of cannabis news. I'll be responsible for that segment as well. So thank you, my friends, for sticking with your boy. I've been here since 2019, I think. It's all vagary, you know. It's all in the dream scheme, my friends. 420, stick with me. We'll open a big fat bag of cannabis news. I don't know what kind of fun story I want to hit you with, but let me just say this. I'm not going to read the article. But I mentioned it a few weeks ago about how China... Well, here, let me just tell you this, okay? So China, they come under fire for having dogs painted like pandas. And the people didn't really appreciate seemingly being fooled by that. Apparently in the small lettering on the sign, it said, these are dogs painted like pandas. But, of course, you know, it was behind a shrub and over the hill and down in this thing. Well, I got to Googling it. Here, China has a history of lying about the animals being real. If you want to Google it, this is your assignment. Google, that bear ain't real, China Zoo. And check that picture out of this guy or this bear standing up looking an awful lot like a guy in a bear suit. Now, they've refuted it and said, we don't know why it looking like that, but it's really a bear. But I'm thinking, man, what kind of ruse? Like, what is it, help wanted? Like, we need you to spend your days in a bear cage at the zoo? You know, at break, we'll feed you regular food. You can come down this hallway. You can have your own little break room. But then for the rest of the day, you got to be out here in this thing acting like a bear. We're going to give you some honey, you know, pee on yourself. It'll be great. It's like, well, how much are you paying an hour? You know, is this a salary gig? I got to live at the zoo as a bear for how long? I got to sign a contract? But yeah, Google it. That bear ain't real. China Zoo. And check that picture out. Now, I personally think that stinking bear looks like a dude, one of those cheap, you know, Party City outfits. But it could just be me, of course. Let me tell you this, because I like to. But New Economic Frontier, like I said, they are almost done, folks. I mean, they're down to like hundreds left, which is good. So they just got about 500 left. They got just about 500 left. They're doing a drive-through signature drive Saturday, noon to 7, and Sunday, noon to 6 in the Tochi parking lot. I guess that must be this weekend, but if it's not, it's the next one. Go to neweconomicfrontier.com and you can get all the info that you need. My boy Foster, shout out Foster. You see my boy downtown slinging the signatures. He's been hustling. And so again, it's going to be on the ballot. Just know that. Know that you're going to get to vote on it. I mean, it's going to happen now. So tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your kids. Did I say kids already? Don't know. Dad, no. But anywho, 95.9 KRFF, that's what you tapped into right now, and I'm happy to bring it to you. Now, let me say this, because I love to do it. Programming on 95.9 FM, Radio Free Fargo, KRFF. LP's been underwritten by Drummer's Journey. Drummer's Journey offers percussion instruments, hardware, electronics, accessories, and more. They have full service for drummers, including repair, custom building, and lessons. Drummer's Journey is located at Highway 10 East Mall in Moorhead. Their hours are Monday through Thursday, 11 to 7. Fridays and Saturdays, 11 to 5. Sundays, noon to 5. For more info, check drummersjourney.com. They have a profile on that there Facebook. You know, it's that Facebook there thing. Okay, I got one more crazy fun story. And then, well, maybe I got two. But this is just kind of a fun one for you as we go into a musical break before we go into the 420 segment. If you haven't heard about this, basically a runaway donkey. It was a pal of the family. They loved the little donkey. In fact, his name was Diesel. Not to be confused with sour diesel or lemon diesel or just straight diesel that you would put in, say, a diesel. All right. Well, the runaway donkey has been seen. He's been missing 5 years. Diesel been gone. Well, guess what? He showed back up. Apparently, he's in charge, leading a herd of elk. Now, that's crazy. Max Finnell was like, oh my goodness, there's a donkey in with the elk. That's the weirdest thing. He was hunting. Donkey named Diesel. He ran off 5 years ago. Was recently spotted with a herd of elk. Terry lost her favorite donkey, who ran away during a hike. He got scared by a weird old Betty mountain lion. Diesel was found on a trail camera several months later, but the search ran cold. They looked for old Diesel for months. They got other donkeys. They moved on. But they never stopped thinking about diesel. And then, folks, something remarkable happened. Max was hunting in Auburn, California, when he saw something strange within a herd of elk. Oh, my goodness, there's a donkey in with him. And it was like, wait, that should just be all elk, he thought. And that's a smart surmisation, surmised. He surmised properly. What else got to me was the fact that it was clear that the donkey was part of the herd. Like he was, he was like the white gangster. But anyway, folks, that's the kind of stuff I'm bringing you, and that's the kind of stuff that we'll focus on more as I fade out this show into the next here in the next few months. Like I said, once November, the election for cannabis is said and done, I will turn over. All right, well, I'm a Wooden Soldier instrumental by Corner Shop 95.9. Well, that was Create Your Own Lyric Minute by Canna-Talk ND with me. I'm a Wooden Soldier, Corner Shop. That's what you got right before 420. It's time to open a big fat bag of cannabis news. So let's do that right now. I'm going to fire up the intro. Huh? It's nice. It's going to be sad to see that go. Boom.
Hey, it's Phil from Cannaheads. Like this episode? Hit that like button. And if you enjoy the show, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on cannabis news, local and national. Listen live on 95.9 in the Fargo, North Dakota region from 4 to 5 p.m. on Thursday. For our non-Fargo region friends, you can listen on your favorite podcast platform. Just search Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Now enjoy the show.
All right. Let's go ahead and shut that down. And welcome everybody to Canna-Talk ND with me. 420, we open it up, and we're going to talk about cannabis. I got a lot of stuff to talk about, but we'll talk about North Dakota first. South Dakota, they also are hoping to get it voted in, but they're not getting very good responses. A lot of people claim that the over 50% in 2020 was a fluke, because it passed, and then, it got Christie, stop shooting your dog, Gnome. She got in there and fixed it, got it removed. And so people argue, well, you should be able to vote it again. The support shouldn't wane; it should build. That's what we're seeing in North Dakota, and I'm excited about North Dakota just because, again, every time it's been on the ballot in North Dakota or Fargo and Grand Forks, we have. Again, like I said, if North Dakota only consisted of the Red River Valley and it was Cass and whatever the county in Grand Forks is, we'd have had it voted in already. It's just apparently the liberal side votes, and apparently that's a liberal thought that's changing daily, obviously. But the fact that Bismarck got behind it, Grand Forks and and Fargo, we still gonna get it, right? We were just missing things like Bismarck. Bismarck would have been nice. We never won in Bismarck, and the primary promoters and the cash and the engine fueling this is out of Bismarck. So that's a good sign, really. It really is. And because, again, if we're in the 40s without anybody, 43%? Bismarck would probably be that extra 7. So it's interesting. So it's going to be on the ballot. We just got a few hundred left in North Dakota. New Economic Frontier. If you haven't signed, it's at all the dispensaries. You don't have to go in. You just drive up. Orange Records, Tochi Products here in Fargo. There's a whole list. Just Google it and find it. Again, there's a drive-in event happening this weekend at Tochi Products. You just drive and sign. They might even give you a sticker. I don't know. I can't drive 55. I can't drive 420. Whatever. What are we talking about? I don't know. South Dakota, though, it's going to be on the ballot, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. This is from Cannabis Moment. North Dakota activists say cannabis legalization initiative just needs a few hundred more signatures. So they're only a few hundred signatures away from reaching the threshold. And the other thing about Bismarck, they're kind of anal over there. What with them being a governmental, regurgitation in our state. If there's a law being made, it's happening in Bismarck. And so Bismarck is vetting every signature like, the anal people they are. So I can assure you that when they say they have them and they're valid, they're valid. They've made sure they're valid. They're looking at them, so they're scrutinizing them. They don't want any mistakes, and that's great. That's great. So they've collected 15,179, and they need 15,500. And they'll get probably close to 20 if I were to guess. I mean, we still have, a couple weeks. There's things going down. There's petitions all throughout the state. So it's exciting. It's exciting because, again, I've watched this from the beginning. And it's unlike South Dakota, support has grown, and so, and actually popularity in cannabis in the old folks is increasing as well. And usually they were the ones that were like, we ain't gonna let no dope in here, buddy. Is now like, you mean that's gonna fix my hip pain? And all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, it aids with sleep? Well, maybe my old hind didn't overspoke. Yeah, maybe you did, Grandpa. Okay, anyway, so North Dakota needs to submit by July 8th in order to make the ballot this November. The campaign is internally verifying the signatures throughout the process, which basically means they're looking at them immediately. So when they tell you they have the signatures, they've looked at them and made sure that they are proper already. So that's good. That's good news. Don't let me forget to tell you about the pantsless man who crashes into Florida jail and throws rubber snakes around. Got to make sure to tell you that before we're done. And again, that's the kind of stuff I'll talk about when we turn over. Okay. What should we talk about now? Let's talk about this then. Older patients using medical cannabis experience considerable improvement in health and well-being. Older patients. A new study on the impacts of medical cannabis on older adults finds that cannabis-based products may provide multiple benefits for the demographic, including for health, well-being, sleep, and mood. Again, you ask anybody, like, hey, if this could benefit your health, well-being, sleep, or mood, would you be down, bruh? No, not in my state. Get out of here with that well-being talk. So it's like, well, I mean, they just... And that's the thing when they say actions speak louder than words. I mean, if you look healthier and he's been sleeping and his mood's better, you don't go, if I get a chance to vote that out of here, I'm gonna. What? Why? And so that's the thing. Even people that were very pro busting cannabis, to keep the lights on at the jail, in my opinion, is now being able to platform away from it because of the stuff that's worse, like fentanyl and that sort of stuff. Now they have they have a pivot platform where they can switch their whole, it's for the children, we're protecting our neighborhoods, to something a little more appropriate, if you ask me. Again, Google Kensington Avenue and tell me those guys are A, on cannabis, B, on fentanyl. Ding, 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 ding. They're going to be on fentanyl. All right? And that's just the thing. Let me tell you what this is here. Where are we at? Massachusetts. Pennsylvania could see up to $2.8 billion in cannabis sales in first year of legalization. What? And create 45,000 jobs. Like I said, you don't like the smell of money? It kind of smells like cannabis. But man, that's got to smell better than a beet plant. That's got to smell better than cattle, right? However, too much of cannabis smoke is kind of, I don't want to say it's stinky, but it's kind of stinky. And it's certainly pungent, I can tell you which neighbor's got his window open on Broadway when I'm walking home from work. You just can't keep a good man down. Pennsylvania, like I said, $2.8 billion. $720 million of that will be tax revenue. Nobody likes you don't like taxes? And that's another thing about South Dakota. They're failing in taxes. So they could get a leg up with this cannabis business. And, I mean, Christie could use a little popularity boost as well, what with the whole dog murder, So we'll talk about South Dakota here a little bit. Are hemp products unfair to the medical cannabis industry? And here's the thing by Kittrick Jeffries. At smoke shops all across South Dakota, hemp-derived products are being sold that have the same psychoactive effects as what can be found at a medical dispensary. Members of the industry are calling foul, saying that none of these products could be sold without a medical license. And then I say, well, who cares? Well, what's it to you, right? Oh, they added the continued sale of these products is creating inequality in the industry. Oh, so now you want to make all the money. It does feel as though there is an unfair advantage. But the question is, for us in the licensed industry, it makes it very difficult for us to compete. Well, why? Well, Dakota Herb is a medical dispensary. Their co-owner is also a former highway patrolman. He says, I believe every bit of cannabis being sold in South Dakota that's not being sold at a dispensary is a felony. It's illegal distribution of cannabis. So the government wants us to have faith in it, but they act so stupid. That farm bill, they really thought they were stopping something. They created this proliferation of weird cannabinoids. Well, they're not weird. I mean, they're in the plan. But this manipulation that the government, who we're supposed to trust their ability to direct and guide, it just appears that they are dumb. They couldn't see through that. I mean, and now we've got this crazy market of stuff. So here's what Welsh also said. He says Welsh believes that the smoke shops are not accurately representing the total amount of THC in their products by not including THCA, which is that part that becomes active upon heating. If you think about Prohibition in the 30s and alcohol is illegal, yet there's a store on the corner saying they're selling vodka, and their argument is, well, it's not really alcohol till you open it and drink it. That's exactly what these people are saying. That's what they're doing. They're saying, well, it's not cannabis until you smoke it. So that is the craziest thing. That's the craziest thing. Mr. Williston, he's the manager of Chasing Clouds. He, following the passage of 1125, apparently it makes it illegal to modify and sell hemp products. He'll have to pull all his hemp products off the shelves on June 30th. So apparently all the funny alt cannabinoids are gone. Now that it's not going to be available, it's going to force people either to get their medical card, or my opinion is they're just probably going to go to the street and buy it off who knows what, which he means who knows who. Or maybe he means buy it off of somebody who knows what it is. I don't know. This guy should probably figure out how to read or write. I don't know. Welsh believes it shouldn't have taken this long. He points to HB 1008 passed in 2020. This makes it a misdemeanor for him to be sold for smoking or inhaling. After having conversations with multiple law enforcement, he doesn't get anywhere. He says, no one has been able to give me an answer to a simple question, and the question is, why will you not enforce cannabis laws? So you're looking at $500,000 of overhead to be compliant with state regulations, and whereas a hemp shop, under these loopholes, they could just be selling willy-nilly. So if it's yet to be known if all shops selling hemp products who will pull their products, and if local law enforcement will begin enforcing these laws. So South Dakota is struggling. So let's look at this. And it's kind of funny. This is also from Dakota News Now. The title is Most South Dakota Voters Oppose Recreational Cannabis. And I just love that because they say level of support has dropped. That's pretty definitive. It's, you would say that when in fact it has dropped. Okay, the statewide survey sponsored by Cheeseman Center for Democ, showed that 52% of respondents in South Dakota are against initiated Measure 29 compared to 42 who support it. Now, check this out. Most Dakotans, here's how they start this article. Most South Dakotans oppose the latest attempt. Most of them. Almost all. Like 52%. That's like almost not like all at all. That's like just like half, bruh. Half ain't most, bro. Is it? I mean, and I just hate slanted stuff. All right. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You tell me 52% of respondents are against Measure 29. You asked 500 people, according to a scientific poll of 500 registered voters. 500. So you're saying to me 253 of them, or 254 of them said no, and 246 said yes? Get out of here. You're going to tell me most of South Dakotans? You asked 250 of them oppose it. Now, you can start talking to me about averages and splicing and slicing. You asked 500 people, bro. Bottom line. You only asked 500. So you got 255 of them to say, I don't want it in our country. I mean, but yet you say, and here's the title. Most South Dakota voters oppose the measure. You asked 500 people. And almost half of them were down. It's sad. It's really sad. But here's what's not sad. Minnesota lawmakers codify court decision ending cannabis odor as justification. So apparently, if you don't, tattoo this into skin, lawmakers will be able to rework and finagle. Okay? Rework and finagle. Minnesota lawmakers codified court decision ending cannabis odor as justification for vehicle searches. So, we've seen it with other really important issues, whether we're talking about reproductive rights or voting rights. The court can come back and reverse their decision. The smell of cannabis was once enough for a police officer to conduct a search. I know I've been victim of it. But a decision by the Minnesota Supreme Court shortly after cannabis was legalized that prevents officers from using cannabis odor as the only reason for a vehicle search. So the language codifying the decision is one of many provisions included in the judiciary development. So, no more searches for cannabis odor only. The new language states that a law enforcement officer's perception of odor cannot be used as the sole basis to search a vehicle. Now, I would imagine if they smell it, they're going to come up with another reason. I don't know what that is, and they don't either. But once they do, buddy, they're going to figure it out. It's from Ganjapreneur. Again, you're listening to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. I'm Wilson. This is from Ganjapreneur. The title says this, and I love this name. Portland Pickles. What a great name for a baseball team. Portland Pickles. Put your hands together for the Portland Pickles. Huh? Man. Portland Pickles. I wonder, their fans probably sour on them every once in a while. Hey, you. Portland Pickles. Are you ready for these guys? Because they just became the coolest team in the world. The Portland Pickles, an Oregon-based baseball team in the West Coast League, is set to become the first pro sports team in the U.S. to sell THC-infused beverages at their games. That's right, the Portland Pickles going to get you sauced up on THC. Only 2%, though, or 2 grams. There's only going to be 2 grams there, 2 milligrams in each serving. So you're going to have to drink, 5 of them just to get 10? I mean, for a game. But yeah, again, we're not talking like the more you drink, like the more empties next to you, the more rowdy you become, the less clothes you're wearing. You start jumping up and slapping people. That doesn't build the same way, So you're just drinking a bunch of water and sugar, essentially, But you drink 3 of them, 6 migs. I mean, it ain't that big a deal. So, the Cycling Frog Light Seltzer will be available at the Pickles Walker Stadium starting June 18th. That was 2 days ago. Light Seltzer contains 2 milligrams of THC. Well, that is a big deal, isn't it? The Portland Pickles baseball team in Oregon, you guessed it, is stinking allowing THC cannabis drinks. So, what are we going to talk about now? Let's talk about a Missouri cannabis store near the Arkansas border. It's flourishing, and local officials want to cut. Now, it's not even in a county. Nestled along a bubbling creek at the base of a rolling hill is the Flora Farm State Line Dispensary, just a third of a mile from the border. That's crazy, right? On Sunday afternoon, cars in the drive-through line wrap around the building, about 20 cars parked out front. Inside, bud tenders at 14 registers never stop moving to keep up with the rush. This is actually not that busy, says Val. We stay busy from the time we're open till the time we shut this sucker down. I added that part. Since the store opened in January 5, it's already become one of the highest revenue-generating dispensaries in the state. On the Missouri side, there's not much near the dispensary. There's only a town of 400 people less than a mile away. The closest major Missouri city is Joplin, an hour north. However, Arkansas offers a web of rapidly growing cities within a 20 to 30-minute drive. Across the border is the city of Bella Vista, Arkansas, a wealthy community. Oh, really? You know, there's not no hillbilly redneck sister touchers? Like you would assume everybody on the dope is? And that's another thing. We'll talk about Martha's Vineyard here. They figured out how to get their cannabis over. You know, we're talking rich people. All right. A little further south down the road is Bentonville, the fifth largest growing city. Walmart's expanding. At a glance, the dispensary appears to be part of Jane, but Jane isn't benefiting from the sales tax because the dispensary is located in an unincorporated area. About a decade ago, attorneys were able to squash it. Walmart was, because of Walmart's Walmart, all right? But they couldn't. So they wanted to do it. This is a ground-up operation. Flora Farms now operates 3 licenses in Humansville. What a fun name, huh? What a fun name. So just think about that. That Moorhead, Minnesota being a legal town on the border of Fargo, North Dakota. If you don't think that that's going to be utilized in our fair city, you on crack, my friend. And it's not, we ain't getting tax dollars, so the government, so you can see this has been a discussion, people are talking, and I believe that the North Dakota Fat Cats have figured out how to make a little scratch from this. And they've come up with the right platform. You know, we're going to have a problem with it anyway. We might as well tax it. It's already over there, and it's already over there, so we might as well tax it over here. And again, when you add the limits like that, like the edibles, when you make edibles only 300 mgs that you can have, you're going to probably end up having more than you get pulled over. Then what? See, that's the answer that nobody tells me. What happens when you get pulled over and you've got 325 mgs under this new law that they're going to pass? What happens? And then what happens when your plants grow more than you're allowed? You know, is there a gifting, a gifting amendment? You know, can you gift? Well, I don't know. So that's the thing. So I would encourage anybody who's anti-cannabis to still vote for this if you like money, because there's just no proof that your neighborhood is going to be in this crazy decline. You're not going to turn into Fentanyl Avenue. Well, you might, but it's got nothing to do with the cannabis, you know. And if you like new buildings and nice infrastructure and your potholes filled, go with pot, bruh, because that revenue is just excess extra for you. Okay? Massachusetts regulators allow cannabis to be transported to Martha Stewart Vineyard and Nantucket Islands. Very bougie place. Obama up in there. Martha Stewart up in there. I think Biden likes to stick his feet in the water over there. And they don't want... They lost... there was a lawsuit which they argued that the ban on transporting cannabis from the mainland to the island is arbitrary and puts an undue burden on dispensaries on the island who must rely on cannabis grown only on the island, which I'm thinking, well, who cares? Island Time owner said that he's still working out the details, but he expects to be able to reopen sometime this week. He also indicated plans to drop the lawsuit because they figured it out. So here's the workaround, my friends. The order says that any cannabis transported from the mainland of the islands must remain entirely in state territorial waters, meaning cannabis cannot be transported via the ferry and must be transported on an alternative approved boats. What? You tell me how that makes sense. It don't. But they just want to appease the rich people and get them what they're asking for. Or what? They move. They stop paying taxes. And I'm sure taxes is crazy in Martha's Vineyard. So I don't know. But that's interesting to me how I followed that over these past few weeks. You know, when I brought it up that, poor people at Martha's Vineyard don't get any cannabis. And boy, oh boy, they got it changed, didn't they? And they absolutely did, because money makes things happen. I'm going to hit you with one last story here. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson every Thursday. 420, open a big fat bag of cannabis news. High times. German police encourage British football fans to smoke cannabis instead of downing pints. Football season is in gear in Germany, and police encourage British fans to smoke cannabis instead of getting drunk. Around 40,000 Three Lions fans are expected to converge in Gelsenkirchen this weekend. Unprecedented security operation has been launched to prevent potential, and this is in quotes, friends, hooliganism. Hooliganism. I've heard of hooligans. I mean, now what is it? Hooliganizing? Hooliganizers. Out there hooliganizing. You know what they're guilty of? Hooliganism. And I stand by it. So anyway, he would prefer you weren't drunk, and that should tell you something. Oh, they serve low-alcohol beer in an attempt to keep the potential trouble to a minimum. But local police, they're smart. They have another card up their sleeves, they said, offering cannabis. Cannabis induces a different, calmer state of mind, something the German police can deal with. Now, that statement right there, let me just read that. That's what an officer in German police said this. Cannabis induces a different, calmer state of mind, something that German police can deal with. We can deal with that. Yet alcohol is as legal as can be. You don't see the thing? Now, let me hurry up and run this by you, and then I got to go. But I kind of want to talk about this. A homeless man, Martin County, Florida, homeless man wearing a blouse, which already the story's starting a little different, you know. He ain't got a house, but he's got a blouse on, so he got a nice blouse. He was arrested after driving a sedan. So here we got a homeless man in a sedan wearing a flowery blouse. I'm assuming it's flowery because that's by default, blouse is flowery. Okay. Into the lobby of the Martin County Jail on Monday night, making threats, fighting with first responders, and expressing a desire to kill everyone. Makes sense. You know, you put that blouse on and things change. Joseph Leedy faces charges of criminal mischief over 1,000 and 4 counts of aggravated assault. He approached and smashed through the doors and began pouring motor oil on the lobby floor. Leedy's statements were further described as homicidal, introduced in the post as a homeless man who came here to kill police, and allegedly said things about how he wanted to kill everyone. Now, here's the fun part. While he threw rubber snakes on the floor and fought with deputies and fire personnel. So he's hollering all this stuff while throwing rubber snakes after he had driven through the glass window of this place, right? So the sedan's in there, broken glass, people are wrestling him. He's hollering about killing people. He's now throwing rubber snakes. I don't know where this is coming from because he's wearing a lady's blouse and no pants. Where did these rubber snakes come from, y'all? What? I mean, here comes a guy in a lady's blouse and no pants throwing rubber snakes. And I'm done. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Every Thursday I get in here. Memory Fireworks, home of the Dakota and Memory series, is locally owned and operated with 3 convenient Fargo-Moorhead locations. They offer a large selection of fireworks from multi-shots to reloads, cones, fountains, and more. You can visit them online at memoryfireworks.com or stop by their Horace location. South of Fargo, exit 56, now open daily from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. This 4th of July, you light up the sky with Memory Fireworks, proud community partners of Radio Free Fargo. Again, thanks for joining me. We're going to play a little song here. I got brand new Stanton Moore Squash Blossoms 95.9. Yes, sir. Squash Blossom, Stanton Moore. That's the drummer of Galactic. And I believe he was also the drummer of Corrosion of Conformity. Albatross. Come on, somebody. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. I'm Wilson. I'm about out the door. I'll be back next Thursday. 4 o'clock I get in here. 4:20, open a big fat bag of cannabis news. And this day was a good one for it. If you missed it, you missed it. But you can check it out again on YouTube on Tuesdays, minus the music. Or you can go to radiofreefargo.org, click the show, type in the date. Boom. You can listen to this show up to 9 days after today. I believe God created cannabis for us to use as we see fit, and I show him props every Sunday. Antioch Church, 417 Main Avenue, 10 a.m. We do a recovery class. If you've got a monkey on your back, or you've kicked the monkey off your back, but you can feel that little banana eater pulling on your pant leg, come on through. We believe we can help you. We believe he can help you. I'm just here to tell you that it worked for me. 11 a.m. worship. This show is brought to you by Black Cottage Alchemy. Black Cottage Alchemy, 1,200 mgs of locally grown hemp, colloidal, comfrey, bunch of other stuff wrapped up, thinned up, spun up to go onto your outer body. Outer body benefits, people. Again, educate yourselves on the benefits of cannabis so you can educate others on said benefits. I'll be back in here next Thursday. Stinky Art Music Mart is up next, if it's up next. If it's not, then it ain't. And if it was, then it can't. And I'm out of here. Judgment Day. David Allen. Peace.